Hey guys and girls, I'm back here today with Unit 6, Section 2, Changes in Market Equilibrium. Three major objectives: explain why a free market naturally tends to move toward equilibrium, analyze how a market reacts to an increase or decrease in supply, and lastly, we'll analyze how market reacts to an increase or decrease in demand. So again, tending towards equilibrium, we touched on this in Section 1, but two factors that can push a market into disequilibrium. That would be a shift in the entire demand curve or a shift in the entire supply curve. And obviously, we talked in the last 2 units what causes shifts in demand and shifts in supply. That's outside factors, not price. So let's talk about shifts in supply. Shift in the supply curve to the left or right creates a new equilibrium point. Again, things like new technology, government subsidies, lower cost inputs all could lead to increase in supply. So what happens to the equilibrium price and quantity when the supply curve shifts to the right? Well, price will decrease while the quantity increases. So when the supply curve shifts to the right, equilibrium price is going to change. The price will decrease, the quantity increases. And there you can see the new equilibrium. So we have the green curve is demand, supply 1. So that would be our original. So our original equilibrium point was $2 million at $600. Well, with the supply curve shifting to the right, so supply 2 is our new curve, you can see the supply or the quantity is going to increase. So our new equilibrium quantity is $3 million, but our equilibrium price is now only $400. All right, what about decrease in supply? So factors that can lead to the decrease in supply, things like taxes. We just talked about excise taxes. The price of input costs, raw materials increases. The cost of labor increases. That's going to all decrease supply. So what happens to the equilibrium price and quantity when the supply curve shifts to the left? Well, the price will increase while the quantity demanded will decrease. So the price increases, quantity demanded decreases. So I didn't put a graph on for that, but it would be very similar to we'd have a set new supply curve, but this time it would be to the left. All right, moving on to demand. So let's talk about increase in demand first. Almost every year we experience a new fad or product that enjoys enormous popularity for a fairly short time. I talked about those fidget spinners with demand before. That was really popular, 2 years ago. Almost all my freshmen had them. They reflect the impact of consumer taste and advertising on consumer behavior. It causes demand to rise quickly and a rightward shift in a market demand curve. So what happens to the equilibrium price and the quantity when the demand curve shifts to the right, where demand increases? Both equilibrium price and quantity increase. So this is a little bit different than supply. When supply shifts to the left or the right, you're going to have price and quantity do the opposite. Price will either go up and quantity down, or price down and quantity up. When demand increases or shifts to the right or the left, equilibrium price and quantity will always move in the same way. Moving on to decrease in demand. How does the decrease in demand curve change to reflect decrease in demand? Well, the demand curve will shift to the left. Suppliers will respond to decrease in demand by cutting prices on their inventory, and equilibrium price and quantity decrease. So that's a wrap for today. Real short section. Again, understanding how equilibrium is going to be impacted by shifts in supply and shifts in demand. Shifts in supply, as we go back to the table here again, shift in the supply to the right or increase in supply is going to increase the quantity. Again, we went from 2 million to 3 million, but it's going to lead to a decrease in the price. Now, if our supply curve shifts to the left, which is a decrease in supply, we're going to see a shift or a decrease in the quantity supplied, but an increase in price. And if you imagine we had a new demand curve here, so decrease in demand, curve would shift to the left, the green curve would shift to the left. That means we're going to have a decrease in price, but also quantity or output. Imagine the green curve shifts to the right, we're going to have an increase in output and price. So when the demand shifts, equilibrium's going to, and price and quantity will always shift the same way. Supply, they shift opposite, equilibrium, price, and quantity. So if you can remember that, you are good to go.